before we start, just the way that game started, it was really easy if you were in the seats. Our fans, they hung in there, as did our team, and what they did tonight, I think, is really unique. And we've talked about our fans and the support that they've given this team, even throughout the year. And tonight, the way that we started the game, the way Boston started the game, for that energy really gave us a lift. And it gave us a lift particularly late, I thought. But it also, anytime you're down that much, you have to do something, out of the ordinary a little bit to get back in the game, whatever that is. And when you have, a group of people that are behind you, and particularly when they're behind you, kind of thick or thin, rain or shine. And there was a lot of rain early, and they were a big part of, helping the sun come out.
I was going to ask about the team effort and just how much guys were unselfish, particularly in the second half. You have V going off in the third quarter, and then other players going off in the fourth. Just curious what you thought of the unselfishness tonight.
Did you just say V went off?
You
haven't said that before.
No, I have not.
Collectively, Bruno's emotion just stood out to me.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of unique efforts. I thought Wes, when he came in the game, really gave us a lift. And a lot of our guys, I think we felt like we needed to start the third quarter really strong. We hadn't started the game. We actually had a few good defensive possessions in the beginning of the game, and we fouled a couple shooters. We lost a couple rebounds, and all of a sudden you look up and we're down 10 in a couple minutes. So we hung in there, and it's easy not to hang in there when a game's like that, particularly against a team that's as good as Boston.
I know when we talked before the season began, we talked about unselfishness being a marker of a team that has success. I know it's only been one game, but I would like to know how you felt as far as just how this team has grown as an unselfish team over the course of the year.
I think this team has been unselfish. I think we're learning to play that way, and that's a big thing. It's not as easy. It requires things that are really fundamental, like spacing, having your eyes out, being available. We talked about if someone doesn't get open, which is what happened in the first half a couple times, it's hard to pass the ball. But they were our baskets. Whoever was making them, Hunt's might have been his at the end, but for the most part, you could feel that connectivity with the way they were playing, and I think that helps us defensively as well.
You mentioned there were some good defensive possessions there early, but specifically just in that second half to get this run going, what do you think was really working for you guys defensively?
Well, I think we made them more comfortable. Those guys are such good players that there's a fine line there, and I thought early in the game we were trying to do that, but we were fouling. And there's still, it's Tatum and Brown, it's hard to guard them because they're comfortable with contact and they're drawing contact in order to create space. So I thought we held our ground better. Maybe the biggest thing that stood out to me was on the ball, and particularly in pick and roll. We really worked to get over screens, and there were times when we switched, but that was crucial because of their three-point shooting. To hold them, they've been shooting 40, 45, 48, 53s. And our guys thought we executed, from a game plan standpoint, a lot of things, not the whole game, but some of that had to do with Boston. They're pretty good. I say that, semi-sarcastically, obviously. They have the best record in the league, and you're pretty good if you have the best record in the league.
Is there anything you recall you can share with us that was said at halftime? Anything that you said, or did you let the team pretty much figure it out on their own?
Yeah, I never talk about what I said. But, I think we all knew what the challenge was. I think our whole group internalized that, and I thought you saw that, the way we came out in the third quarter. That sometimes, talk is cheap, and so for us to go out and execute and play in a way that would get us back in the game, that's credit to our guys, obviously.
Coach, I know you mentioned earlier already about Wesley Matthews, but I just wanted to bring him up specifically for his defense and just how you kind of saw him setting the tone, especially there defending Tatum on those occasions.
This is kind of what Wes and I talked about in the summer, is that there's going to be opportunities. He's played, frankly, more than I think he probably thought or I thought, because we've had injuries. But this is the type of game that he thrives in. His physicality, but just his toughness, and his mental toughness. And, I think that that has an effect on other players as well. It just kind of takes everybody's level up when you see that.
Compared to 12 months ago, what has V done to become an NBA defender?
Yeah, I think for one thing, he's made it important. I think the time that he spent in College Park, frankly, and the work that they do down there, and it's been a huge point of emphasis for our group, for Kyle, and Ryan, those two guys in particular. We want that to be kind of a defensive incubator, and I don't think a lot of those habits, and really as much as anything, that emphasis. He started picking up full court on his own. They were like, keep doing that. But he's moving his feet really well, and then his length and his size becomes impactful. Even tonight, he was in front of people. He just sometimes was getting knocked off. We fouled a couple times. Those are tough matchups. So I think as much as anything, it's something that he's embraced and taken pride in. And we always say it. If you defend, you can get on the court, and it's because it's true. He saw a pathway there.
Coach, what's been the change with this team mentally? Because it seems like they're playing with a whole lot more confidence since all these injuries have come about.
Yeah, we've been putting time in. I think even on the road, there was opportunities where we practiced, and our guys have been working, on little things, that don't always translate to the game, but we've been able to, to take some of that to the game, and, trying to continue to build habits. But our guys have made those things important, whether it's something, the simplest things. I thought we're running harder. We're not getting caught in purgatory defensively in transition defense. And guys are, I guess the biggest thing to me is guys are focused on helping each other. What can I do for my teammate? And that's when you put your mind there and you're thinking about someone else and how you can help them, whatever that means. Setting the screen, blocking out, running back, spacing, passing, all those things that manifest itself a lot of ways.
When Clint gets that offensive rebound with 11 seconds left, are you hoping that ball doesn't go up, or what's your reaction when you see the shot go?
I think it was an instinctive shot, and I've been telling Hunt to hunt threes for a while, and he's done that, so I think, he didn't hesitate. He shot the ball with confidence, and, I have confidence in him. It was a heck of a rebound, and Clint had his eyes out, and there wasn't any hesitation, in my mind, and I think that's why he made it, because he shot it with confidence.
Thanks, Coach.